What's going on, guys? Mickle here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you why there is a very good chance the SEC might not have the power it thinks it does to regulate the cryptocurrency industry. This would be massive for XRP in the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit, because this would completely strip the SEC from any power it has of saying XRP is actually a security of Ripple. In this video I'm going to be showing you why the SEC's arguments have been fundamentally wrong from the start, but also what agency might be able to step in and declare XRP not a security and free us XRP holders from this lawsuit. If this happened, it would cause a dramatic rise in the price, as exchanges would once again have the clarity to relist the asset. Guys, if you are new to this channel or come here all the time, make sure you like and subscribe. It goes a long way in helping this channel grow. And with that said, let's jump right into it, and I hope you enjoy the content. Alrighty guys, well, you're definitely going to want to stick around for this whole thing. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you a clip of Gary Gensler actually admitting back in the day that he does not know which agency should have power over the cryptocurrency industry. This is massive because it goes a long way in calling the SEC's bluff, where they've been saying that it is obvious that cryptocurrencies are securities. In this video, I'm going to disprove all of that and then show you the current chair of the SEC actually telling you that it's up in the air. Let's jump into it. You guys are definitely going to want to stick around for this. So the most important thing before we really jump into what Gary Gensler said is to show you guys that XRP fundamentally is not a security, and neither are most cryptocurrencies. They simply don't fit the definition of what a security fundamentally is, as defined by over 85 years of case law. We can see right here, John Deaton tweets out that the SEC essentially is arguing that all the XRP in the world is a security, even the XRP you and I hold. This claim was actually so absurd by the SEC that Judge Neprin had to step in and say, how are you saying that every single holder of XRP in the world are all violating the law right now? You can tell that the court was already suspicious of the SEC's claims as soon as they brought them up to the court, and this goes a long way for us XRP holders, because it shows the court was very quickly on our side. To keep moving though, and this is the really important part, is John Deaton says the SEC has not only ignored the 1946 Howey case, but also in 2019 the Telegram case. In Telegram case, the court ruled the security was neither the Graham purchase agreement nor the Graham, but the entire scheme that compromised the Graham purchase agreement. So what does this mean? Well, John Deaton is telling us right here that back in 2019 there was actually a very similar case to the one we're watching right now between the SEC and a company called Telegram. In that case, the courts ruled that the Telegram token, the Graham token, was not actually the security, because based on previous Howey analysis, a cryptocurrency simply doesn't make sense as a security, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But what the courts did rule was the fact of the matter is that it was the way the Telegram company sold the Graham token, they actually packaged it as a security. So I want to break that down for you, but first I just want to show that Jeremy Hogan really believed that this was a massive thing and something that he had not even seen in the Telegram case. Jeremy Hogan tweets out, in preparing this lawsuit back in late 2020, the SEC still didn't believe that XRP was a security. And what he's saying was, if in 2019 or 2020 the courts ruled that the Graham token was not a security for Telegram, why would they turn around and then immediately sue Ripple, saying XRP was a security of Ripple? They had just lost a very similar lawsuit in which the court told them this is not how a security works. And why is that the case? Well, cryptocurrencies fundamentally do not meet one of the prongs of the Howey test, and that is what defines a security. Let me tell you guys exactly why. So a security is something whose sole value depends on another party. Let me give you a very easy example. Apple stock. If Apple went out of business right now, Apple stock would go to zero, because the only value Apple stock has is in the value of Apple, the company. But let me give you another example that's going to make it very clear that XRP is not a security. Let me tell you this. Exxon. let's say right now that Exxon went out of business. What would happen to the price of oil? Well, the price of oil might fluctuate because Exxon is a big company in the oil industry. Who knows how much? But oil would be fine because oil's value is independent of the company Exxon. So let's take a look at XRP and Ripple. If Ripple went out of business, multiple developers on the Ripple network, as well as developers in other networks, have all said if Ripple went out of business, the XRP ecosystem would be fine. Just as if Exxon went out of business, oil would be fine. The fundamental fact of the cryptocurrency XRP and many other cryptocurrencies in the world is that they do not solely depend on one counterparty, just like oil doesn't depend on one company that digs it up from the ground. It depends on a whole environment and a whole bunch of different other things that are independent of the company that drills it, just like XRP's value depends on the state of the XRP ledger and not Ripple, a company that happens to use that XRP. Now, let me give you one more example to drive this home. What is a security? Well, how about Ripple stock? Ripple stock is a direct representation of the value of Ripple. If Ripple went out of business, Ripple stock would go to zero. If Ripple went out of business, XRP would be fine. It is very simple to understand what is security and what is not. If Ripple wasn't there, XRP would be fine, and therefore, based on the 85 years of what the SEC uses to regulate what is a security and what is not, XRP does not meet their definition. It's not a security. And this is the hardest thing that the SEC is having to get through their heads, and something they don't want to admit because they want all the power over this industry. Right here, I tweeted out to Jeremy Hogan and John Deaton because one of the things I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around is why would the SEC bring this case if it's so obvious to me and you that XRP is not a security of Ripple. It's not a security at all. It doesn't meet their own definition. It's hard for me to believe that they're actually this dumb and would not think of this before this lawsuit was filed, especially since they just got out of another case where the same ruling happened. The cryptocurrency is not a security. Therefore, I pose this question to John Deaton and Jeremy Hogan. What are the chances the SEC purposely set up this lawsuit in this way to create a legal distinction between the security status of the sale of the token versus the token itself? Only other option is, in my opinion, is complete incompetence by the SEC. So what am I saying here? Is it possible that the SEC knew obviously the fact that XRP is not a security? It doesn't meet the prongs of their own test of what a security is. So is this entire lawsuit a show for the courts to create a legal distinction and say, Ripple, your XRP or the XRP you hold is not a security of you because its value does not solely depend on you, but the way in which you sold XRP is completely different, and that will go as a security. And if that was to happen, that is the only way, in my opinion, it makes any sense for the SEC to even be trying to say XRP is a security. It would only be to create precedent because Congress and other regulatory bodies hadn't been doing it. Now, one thing that is very possible is that if the SEC does get the power for the sales of the XRP and not the XRP itself, that another agency comes in to actually regulate the cryptocurrencies themselves, because let's face it, they should have regulations. So if we see right here, and this is actually a document from the Ripple Tetragon case, Ripple actually says determination of whether XRP is a security may be made by another government authority. Notice how they don't say the sales of XRP, they say if XRP might be declared a security or not by another government authority. It is very clear to me by them even mentioning this that it is a very good possibility, and they are saying directly to the court that it is very likely the SEC doesn't even have the power it thinks it does to be imposing these regulations over cryptocurrencies. To most people, it is likely very obvious that these cryptocurrencies are not securities because they do not meet the SEC's own test of what a security is and what it's not. With that said, I want to show you guys something else that is very critical in understanding that it's hard for me to imagine the SEC just doesn't understand this. They are smart people, they have good legal teams, and I'm going to show you a clip of Gary Gensler directly saying it's completely up in the air whether these cryptocurrencies are securities or what agency is going to regulate these cryptocurrencies is completely up in the air. What I think is most likely going on right now is Gary Gensler is saying they're all securities because he wants the power over the industry. He thinks he's going to do the best job with this, so therefore he's just saying, all right, ignore the fact that it doesn't meet this definition perfectly. Ignore that. Give us the power because I want to be able to put my hand down and make this industry cooperate the ways in which I want it to cooperate. Now, I'm going to show you this right here is a quote by Gary Gensler very recently. I think it was just today. And Stephen Hubert is tweeting out, isn't this quite the turnaround? Gary's speech today in Washington, dynamic regulation for a dynamic society. I think the transformation we're living through right now could be as big as the internet was in the 1990s. Again, no regulation can be static in a dynamic society. And he's talking about cryptocurrency right here. It's just very interesting because this is one of the first times we've actually seen Gary Gensler say something this positive about transforming regulation to better fit the cryptocurrency industry. This is a clip I really wanted to show you guys because I think it actually might make you look at Gary Gensler a lot differently. And I think it's going to have to do a lot with this thing he just said here, where the regulation around crypto has to be dynamic and has to fit the market.
Back in 1933 with securities, where should that regulation come? I mean, you're obviously from the CFTC, you believe in the CFTC, but why there rather than the SEC, for example? Or maybe there's an entirely different new regulatory body.
I'll even be regulator neutral as well as technology neutral. I think the pure cash cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin need more protection, and probably more protection than, frankly, even the oil markets or corn and wheat. Whether that's the CFTC or the SEC, I'll be neutral. I think this.
Right there. He's literally telling us that he doesn't think it matters if it's the CFTC or SEC. He just wants them to be regulated. And that is going to go a long way once we finally get this regulation. What is clear to me is Gary Gensler just wants to be the guy in charge, and he's at the SEC now, so that's the department he wants to regulate it. He wants to make the shots, but it does not mean that if it comes down to a court ruling, which is what's happening right now, that XRP will be declared a security because the courts don't care who wants the power and who doesn't. The courts are going to side with whatever party is right. And based on the fact that the SEC is trying to redefine what a security is, they are never going to win. I wanted to end it by just showing you this quote by Gary Gensler, specifically talking about XRP. And this might make you realize that the whole world is a stage and he might know a little more than he leads on. You could use a blockchain, but you need a bridge currency in between, and that bridge could be a stable value that's backed by the US dollar or the euro, or it could be an alternative currency like Ripple has an alternative in XRP. I tweeted out, Gary Gensler understands crypto. He also wants all the power on how it's regulated. I don't think that could be, I think that is right on. I think Gary Gensler understands what's going on in the cryptocurrency industry. He wants the power. He wants to call the shots. And right now we are watching a precedent-setting court case on who is going to get that power. Luckily for us, Ripple's on top. I think they'll continue to be on top. Guys, thank you so much for coming. If you're still here, make sure you like and subscribe. It means so much to me. But with that said, thanks for coming. And for now, Mickle out.